Well, we're not just about doom and gloom on this channel, we're also about positivity and good news that you don't hear in the mainstream media. Boris Johnson has blocked Nicola Sturgeon's second Scottish referendum, another attempt. To be fair, she does try every 10 minutes, every week, to have this agenda back on the table. And this time, every time the Westminster try to find some legitimate excuse. Over the last 2 years, since March 2020, well, the lockdown was a good excuse for them. And now we have Ukraine. And we have everything else. But I believe that Boris Johnson and Downing Street are not just using Ukraine as an excuse, saying, well, no, there are all these crises, globally conflicts, to block Nicola Sturgeon. Actually, in fact, what we've been hearing is that Downing Street's line is that because of what's happened, you've now created an energy security crisis, cost of living crisis, and people in Scotland are being targeted. So it's best to stay together. It's best to protect the union for now. But if we are actually going to protect the union, keep everyone together, then if you really want to solve the issues in Scotland for Scottish people, then you need to sort out the devolution powers, because it's not really working. The Holyrood establishment and the Nicola Sturgeon's SNP minions, they can't do anything to help the Scottish people. They only help their own agenda. Especially because you had 59% of Scottish voters saying that, well, we don't really want the Scottish referendum now. Let's just postpone the talks. There's no urgency. We have other problems to focus on right now. Cost of living and everything else going around Scotland. You see, again, crime still going up as well. Health crisis, education standards. And you wonder why. When you only have 29% of Scots. 29% is a lot lower than the people who voted for the SNP. Only 29% believe that we should basically push for the second Scottish referendum to happen now. Yeah, and they're all still kicking off. You have some nationalist members of the Scottish Parliament coming out, like Rona McKay, saying, oh, people have already decided that there should be an independence referendum. How? These people think that because the SNP and the Scottish Greens are in some sort of coalition government and they both believe in an independent Scotland, that means by default, the Scottish people, the majority, have already agreed that there should be a Scottish referendum now. Don't think that's how mandate works. Not really sure you understand the concept of referendums, constitutional referendums, and a partnership that's through the back doors. You create your own coalition partners, and you wonder why people in Scotland are tired of you. But going back to the Nicola Sturgeon's SNP government and the minions, if they really want to convince the public and the British public in general, the whole of the kingdom, that it's in the interest of Scottish voters to actually have an independent referendum, then maybe, just maybe, she could sort out the domestic issues of Scotland, the areas that she currently has responsibility for and the power to make some changes. Do that first, then we can assess to see how competent you are, because so far, you haven't really shown competence. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to come back with more news. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.